Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm reviewing the first episode of Season 2 of The Last of Us. Let's jump right in. The episode starts exactly where Season 1 ended. Ellie asks Joel, "Is everything you said true?" referring to what happened with the fireflies. She asks if he really killed them, and Joel swears that he did. Ellie looks at him and says, "Okay." Then the screen cuts to black. After that, we jump 5 years into the future. That Ellie has changed a lot. She's not just older, she's stronger, tougher, and more skilled in fighting. She's been shaped by the hard world around her and everything she went through in Season 1. But most of all, it's her anger toward Joel and the truth he hid from her that drives her growth. One cool detail I noticed, the fight scene shows Ellie using Jiu-Jitsu moves. That's a fighting style where smaller fighters can beat bigger opponents using skill and technique. It really fits Ellie's character and shows how powerful she's become. At the end of the episode, Ellie doesn't say she wants independence, but she shows it through her actions. She's trying to say, "I can handle things on my own." It's clear she wants to be in control of her own life, even if it means pushing people away. Ellie wants independence. She tells Joel, "I can go hunting." She doesn't want to rely on him. Out of concern, Joel turns on the light in her room and checks in on her. He tries to support her, telling someone, "Don't be hard on her," and gives her a simple job, guard duty, instead of standing around. That small moment shows his way of caring. But Ellie is holding a lot inside. Later, she snaps and yells at someone she cares about in front of others. It shows how much pressure she's under and how much anger she's carrying. One of the things I really liked about this episode, just like in Season 1, is how the show follows the don't tell rule in storytelling. Instead of explaining everything with words, they let the actions and visuals speak for themselves. For example, there's a scene where Tommy jokingly calls his son Killer. In our normal world, that would sound awful. But in a post-apocalyptic world, being able to kill infected people is seen as a skill, even a point of pride. The meaning of words has changed. There's also a therapist character who drinks and smokes weed, using therapy money to do it. Again, in the old world, this would be wrong. But now everything is different, and people are just trying to cope however they can. One powerful line comes when someone says, "I love Ellie." This tough, closed-off person forces himself to say it out loud, and that moment hits hard. Saying something or doing something that means something deeper, that's a big theme here. This episode also reminds me of a scene in Season 1. Ellie tells Joel, "My hand's empty," meaning she's ready to carry a gun. Joel simply replies, "Good luck," which really means, "You're not getting one from me." That's how this show works. It doesn't say everything directly, but we still understand the meaning. Another example, Ellie talks about a movie called Curtis and Vipper, one of Joel's favorites. It's the same movie Sarah played for Joel on his birthday in Season 1, just before everything went wrong. That moment connects Ellie, Joel, and Sarah without anyone having to explain it. It's emotional without words. Neil Druckmann and Craig Mazin, the creators, are really focusing on this theme of concealment, hiding feelings, hiding the truth. That's the biggest issue in this episode. Joel is hiding the truth about what happened with the fireflies, but Ellie already knows deep down. That silence is what's causing all the tension. The therapist even says something like, "You killed my husband, and now I have to tell you I hate you. And now that I said it, maybe I can fix it." That line sums up a lot of what's going on. Unspoken truths are breaking relationships. There's a powerful line where someone says, "I'll do better because I told you what was in my heart, even if it was bitter." That shows the importance of being honest, even when it's hard. The message is clear. If you're hiding something, speak up. Maybe that's how healing can begin. Then we get a powerful moment with Joel. Someone asks, "What did you do to Ellie?" and the camera zooms in on his face. We don't get a flashback, we just stay on Joel as he remembers everything. Thanks to the actor's amazing performance and Gustavo Santaolalla's emotional music, it's a tear-jerking moment. But Joel is still in denial. He says, "I saved her," meaning he doesn't fully see the dark side of what he did. He admits to killing people, but only focuses on the good parts, saving Ellie. Until Joel accepts that what he did also caused pain, his relationship with Ellie can't fully heal. And this silence isn't just from Joel, it's also from Ellie. If Ellie came to Joel and said, "I don't believe you. I know you lied," maybe they could finally have an honest conversation. But both of them are stuck in this silence. That's the key theme here. The real damage comes from what's left unsaid. We also meet a new character, Abby. She's clearly important, and it seems like she was one of the Fireflies. She's grieving after the massacre Joel caused at the hospital. There's a scene where she sits at a grave, and it's obvious she cared deeply about the person buried there. What's really interesting is how the show builds her character. We don't just see her anger, we feel it. Everything about her actions, her body language, the way she speaks, it's all leading up to something big. When she says, "We're going to kill him," but slowly, it tells us everything we need to know. You can't measure her rage with numbers, but that one line shows how much hate and pain she's carrying. This slow revenge setup also helps introduce something else: the stalker. We get a glimpse of this new threat and learn more about how dangerous the world has become. The first stage is the runners. They still look human and attack quickly. The second stage is the stalkers. They start to grow fungus out of their bodies, but they still have working eyes. What makes stalkers scary is their ability to hide, wait, and then ambush. They're much more dangerous and unpredictable. In this episode, we get a full scene that introduces a stalker. What's creepy is that he still has some human features and can see, which confirms he hasn't turned into a clicker yet. His movements are monstrous, but when he speaks with a human voice, it makes the moment even more terrifying. It's like a mix between a zombie and a possessed person. There's a great detail when Ellie calls out to him saying, "Come to me," and uses the word "run." That felt like a subtle reference to the name of the first stage of the infection, runners. But this creature doesn't just run, it stalks, plans, and attacks smartly. Honestly, this gave me more of a possessed horror movie vibe than a typical zombie. Even worse, it manages to bite Ellie, which is a huge risk. That moment shows just how dangerous these stalkers are. Now let's talk about Ellie, Dina, and the risks they're taking. There's something important here. Most people don't know that Ellie is immune, except for Joel, Tommy, and maybe Maria. That means when she jumps into danger, it's not always about bravery. It's often reckless, and nobody realizes the full story behind her choices. So keep an eye on that. Ellie's decisions might look bold on the outside, but there's a deeper reason why they're so risky. Ellie is moving deeper into the heart of the story, because emotionally she's no longer a child. Her choices come from that maturity. But at the same time, they feel selfish, because she's putting other people in danger along with herself. One cool surprise in this episode is that Gustavo Santaolalla, the composer of both the game and the series, actually appears in the episode. He's the one playing the instrument. That was a really nice touch for longtime fans. Now let's talk about one of the most visually powerful moments. Pay close attention to the lighting and colors. Joel is standing on the warm, yellow side of the house. He represents family, protection, and the role of a father. Ellie stands on the cold, blue side as a rebellious teen drifting further away. She walks past Joel without acknowledging him. The warm light that once surrounded Joel shifts. His face turns red, showing emotional pressure, tension, even a kind of burning frustration. The final scene also hints at two new dangers and two ways that the safety of Jackson might be broken. At the start of the episode, Jackson's leader says, "This window won't hold out the cold anymore," which sounds like a metaphor. That line might be foreshadowing the cracks in Jackson's safety, that outside threats are getting in. There are two big threats coming. The infected are finding new ways in, like through underground pipes and sewage systems. The show reminds us that in this world, the infected are connected by roots. If even one gets through, it could bring a whole swarm. Abby and her group, who are clearly after revenge, are also closing in. They seem to have found Jackson's location, and they're watching, planning. It's another kind of invasion, one more human, but just as dangerous. Even though this episode is packed with action and side plots, I think the real heart of the story is about the generation gap, how young people struggle to break away from their families and find their own identity. It raises deep questions. Where does all this teenage anger come from? Why do kids rebel? Part of it might be a natural desire to grow and become independent. But sometimes it also comes from unspoken trauma, things that happened in childhood that were never discussed. Parents don't talk about it, kids don't know how to bring it up, and it festers inside, like the infection in this world. It grows quietly, and one day it explodes in the form of rebellion, anger, or silence. And that's the emotional core of this episode. That's it for our first deep dive into The Last of Us Season 2. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss a video. See you next time.